I think you guys might have been getting Quest 64 audio at the same time as the opening audio. I wasn't 100% sure on that, but it looks like that was the case. So yeah, hello. Hopefully, you know, one thing I should do is check my voice this week because it's been bad the last 2 streams, and unfortunately didn't get a chance to really test it. So that's something I should do to make sure everything's all right there. While I look at this though, I posted in the Discord earlier, but I got a bunch of Wii games. Hey, Mr. T, how's it going? I want to check to make sure audio is good real quick. That is my first goal, because the last 2 weeks' audios have been bad when I went back and checked them. Which means I need to go offline and test. This is the real thing. But I also need to turn down Quest 64 audio because it is way too loud compared to everything else. I think my voice is very low. Is that sounds accurate? So let us increase. How does this sound? How does this sound? If that doesn't work, I might turn it up a different way. So far behind on YouTube. That still sounds very low, I think. Is it a busy week? Well, actually, let me try this. Let me bump this down, and then let me bump it up on the actual device. I forget, did you ever tell me what you did? Not that you need to tell me. If that is private, that's perfectly fine. Understand, I do not talk about my my job on stream much. So, one day we will get our sound correct. I don't know what caused it to start freaking out at some point, because it got really bad the last 2 streams. Alright, oh man, microphone's really low. Alright, we're gonna bump this up. I don't know why it's so low. This is gonna get real loud. We have dropped frames as well, which is not good. This is a great start to the stream. Was that internet connection drop frames, or... Oh, that's not fun. I'm gonna talk really loud for a second. I'm gonna talk about the 4 games I have here. Just hear what I sound like while I do this. 1, Quantum Solace. 3rd-person shooter. It looked alright. Cookin' Mama, $4. Happy about that. Real Hero Firefighters. Firefighter. Sorry, one firefighter. Sorry, Alex. I am testing audio real quick. I think this is fine. The background sound sounds really loud, though. I don't know. How you doing, Alex? Go Vacation. And then Heavenly Guardian. You guys want to open this copy of Heavenly Guardian real quick? I got this in today. It is sealed. Yeah, the background audio sounds really loud for how low it is. Now it sounds quieter. Interesting. Do you think Heavenly Guardian has a manual? It's probably such a budget release. It's from UFO. I don't know who published this in Japan, actually. It's the Pocky and Rocky game that they couldn't get the license to Pocky and Rocky. So they were like, okay, well, Heavenly Guardian. I think it's called like Snow Princess Sayuki in Japan. Full color manual, actually. I'm impressed. not much going on in here. Alright, well, it's a pretty simple manual, but I respect any manual that's in full color, to be honest with you. Hey Joseph, how's it going? I'm doing okay. I'm looking at this Heavenly Guardian. I think we talked about this on stream a while back ago. I don't remember 100% sure if we did, but it came up in a multitude of conversations I had with people, and I was like, I'm gonna buy a copy of Heavenly Guardian. So I did. Alright, I'm gonna switch over to Quest 64 here real quick. And we're gonna see how this sounds because I'm worried about the audio. Oh, I don't have Quest 64 audio on for you though. There we go. Better. Man, YouTube is so far behind. Let me switch over to Twitch because apparently Twitch is way better at keeping up on audio or on the actual recording. Okay, I think this is fine. I think this is good. Thank you for my extended audio testing session there. It was probably way overdue given how bad the audio has been the last 2 streams, so. I mean, I don't know if it's been scanned or not. We'll have to find out. It was sealed and new, so it's pristine. As pristine as it can be today, I guess. I probably should scan it though. What I'll probably end up doing is just kind of scanning stuff as I play through it, to be honest with you. I would love to scan everything in my collection, but I don't have time for that. So it will probably be on an as needed basis, basically. Yeah, it's basically just Pocky and Rocky, and they were originally making it a Pocky and Rocky game, and then they were like, Square didn't want to give them the license to actually make it Pocky and Rocky. So they're like, well, let's make a video game that's not Pocky and Rocky then. And then they did. I don't know what came first, if they made the game first and then had to reskin it, or if you know, something else is going on. It's not on the cutting room floor. I actually went to the cutting room floor page to check because I was curious to see if maybe there's like leftover graphics from when it used to be a Pocky and Rocky game. I also did searches on Japanese using Japanese to see if there was any original trailers of the game before it came to the Wii, because apparently it was originally a GameCube game. I don't know 100% where that information came from, but that seemed to be the claim online, was that it was a GameCube game and it got swapped over to the Wii, and then they couldn't get the Pocky and Rocky license, so they just made it their own game. And they released it as different names in each region, but they're all just like snow princess anime ladies, basically. So, all right. Well, it is time for us to go into the desert, I guess. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have the video game on my screen real quick. 1 second. You might lose the game footage for a moment. Let me see if I can fix that lighting there too. No, I'm making it worse. No. That might be the best we get. Oh, there we go. There we go. At least the game's not being disrupted. That's what matters. Alright, only thing I remember is we're in the burnt out town here. I don't know if there's anything to actually do here, though. I assume we got a, set of wings here from this dude or something, though. Okay, healing potion. Got ya. Yeah, it's on Steam, PS4, and Switch, I believe. No Xbox, I think, because Phil Spencer did not fly to... I don't even know who owns Pocky and Rocky or who made that game. But Phil Spencer did not fly to whatever developer was in charge of Pocky and Rocky. I wonder if it's that weird Natsume company that there's like somebody recently... Ray Barnholt, actually, who used to be on Retronauts, like sent me a response on Twitter about the Natsume, and was like, there's this like off branch of Natsume in Japan that's a separate entity than Natsume in America, basically. So I wouldn't be surprised if they're the ones who were involved in that. Did I talk to you? Probably last time I did. Yeah, I did. All right. Yeah, I forgot there's a PS2 version, you're right. I used to see it at Walmart for like 20 bucks all the time. I don't feel too bad about the price I paid. Which way is the right way? I think north is the correct way. Let me just kind of take a little peek back. I seem to recall the broken stuff over here. Yeah. Remember that being more on that side of town that we came in on. I'd imagine there might be some spirits over here. Let's just kind of explore a little bit. Just to make sure. Yeah, I've got a handful of more Wii games coming in. I got Escape from Bug Island, which I mentioned on the podcast, coming in. I also have... There we go. I'm trying to, like, squint to see if there's any, like, shimmers or anything. That seemed to be the best way to find them before, just, like, look for the little pink shimmers everywhere. But... I got, like, Jumbo Safari or something like that, or Safari Jungle. It's like a Sega arcade game. I played it at a local arcade here, and it was pretty neat, and I found out there was a Wii version of the game, so I didn't really spend a lot of time on the game in the arcade, and I think the arcade removed it from their collection, so I was like, oh, no. So I bought the Wii version of it. I also picked up Mushroom Men. That was another one. What do I want to do? Rock? Rock's pretty good. Oh, that's gonna... Oh. You gonna die? There we go. Oh yeah, go ahead and send it over to me for sure. I'm very curious to see that. Oh man. Does Wired do game coverage anymore? I remember they got rid of Chris Kohler at some point. I don't know if that was like them being like, actually no more Chris Kohler, or if they were actually like saying no more video games anymore. Outside of just like, you know, I'd imagine they cover video games to some degree, but maybe just not like a dedicated like beat reporter or anything like that. Or dedicated staff or something. I think if I recall, it was Chris who was basically on video game coverage on his own, and he basically worked with freelance writers over there at Wired for a while. If I recall correctly. I don't know, where's he again now? Is he with the publisher? I think he's with Digital Eclipse now, if I recall correctly. All game journalists end up in the gaming industry as a like with an actual developer or something at some point. There's no escaping it. Unless you're Jeff Gerstmann, then you're stuck at your own company. Is Adam Sessler with any kind of company? He might be... Ooh, he might be... Maybe just per, like, hire on request, freelance. Because I think he, like, shows up to Bethesda shows a lot, if I recall correctly. Like, maybe the like, opening, like, act for a Bethesda show. Oh, yeah, there's actually, like, I think different box arts for each region, so it might be that the box art for the different regions is reflected in the pre-release one, but... Although if it's a Kiki Kaikai game, then it probably had a different box art entirely from any of the final releases. He's back with G4, I didn't even know that. Oh, I forgot that G4 was gonna, like... Didn't they relaunch a TV channel or something? I forgot about that. I do not remember ever seeing anything out of that. I remember he left kind of G4 on kind of not great terms, if I recall correctly. I'm kind of curious, like, if that was like a very similar thing to Jeff Gerstmann, where he's just like, at this point, the people who were making the decisions that kind of pushed me out are just gone from the company now, so. Hey Derp, how's it going? All right. Well, yes, feel free to lurk. We'll try to beat it. My friend sent me a video trying to figure out where I was in this game, and I think I was further than I thought I was, which is why I'm kind of uncertain. So we'll see. There's like, I think a second section to the game, or not section to the game, but like, I kind of thought we were leading up into the final section of the game with this area, but it seems like there's this area and then a final section there. And knowing me and how much I get turned around and can't figure out where I'm going half the time, I would not be surprised if we take longer than usual to get through those. So. It's gonna be a YouTube channel. So did it not actually launch yet? It feels like forever ago that was announced, but maybe that was just like pre-coronavirus. Oh, speaking of which, that's why I have a thing in my head. I got my first vaccine shot today. So stay away from my 3DS, please. Thank you, Corona. Man, this game. I'm thankful that the battles are fast in this game, because the amount of encounters you run into, it would I think it would be really annoying. Like specifically, if every single enemy acted every turn, I think that would make this game unbearable to get through. Like if you had to wait for all 3 enemies to attack every single time, it would be like, oh my god, please. I'm complaining, but Skies of Arcadia has like a really high encounter rate too, and I love that game. So, admittedly, I played the GameCube version of Skies of Arcadia, so which has the I didn't know you just escape if you're outside the circle entirely. I thought you had to press the button to escape. Interesting. Oh, it is 2 more streams? Okay, sorry, I couldn't remember that. So. Oh, Kevin Pereira. I forgot about him. I never really, like, watched Kevin as a kid, so... As a kid. I don't remember how old I was. I did not love his show, if I recall correctly. Admittedly, I'd say if I went back and looked at a lot of G4 shows, I probably... would not like them nearly as much as I did back then. I assume back then a lot of it was like, hey... This is literally the only video content for video games on the internet, so please, God, thank you, Adam Sessler, for coming out on TV and putting a cigarette in a fish's mouth or something. I don't remember what that was about. Like there's one episode where he's like walking around a pier and he like puts a cigarette in a fish's mouth or something like that. Can't remember. I got Moderna. Is the one that they gave me, so go back in early May. Don't really know the difference other than I think Moderna and this is leading us back. I knew I was going back, but I thought there was another path over there that we just kind of bypassed, and then going back it seems like there's not another path there. Yeah, I definitely recognize all of this. There was so I originally started watching G4 like I think fairly early on. There's basically the shows I liked on G4 were the ones where they would literally just be like, hey, we're just gonna show you some video games, and it was just like a list of games, and usually there's like a theme, and they're just like playing you like gameplay like 2 to 3 minutes at a time with like 5 feet. And that was kind of it. And it was a really interesting show because, like, at the time, it was, like, not super easy to just, like, you know, find footage of video games randomly, right? So that was pretty cool. And that was also when Icons was happening, which was that, like, kind of documentary series about video games. And, you know, it was definitely... When you go back and look at it today, it's definitely not anything like you see on YouTube these days. But for back then, it was like... super interesting to see like these stories about Hideo Kojima and like how he was treated at Konami early on, and like how he was like his reaction to Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear 2 like on the NES, and him being like like this video game. I had no idea this was even being made, kind of thing. I'm just gonna move for right now. I feel like I'm getting an encounter like every 2 feet right now. Filter. I don't remember. What was Filter? The name sounds really familiar. Is that the one where they just like give you the list of games? Yeah, G4 got really bad at some point, Joseph. It was like it was, I don't know. It was just like a lot of the content didn't feel like it was very appealing, at least to me. So I don't know. I just want to get away right now. That is all I want to do. I just want to figure out where I'm going. Do I have a map here? That would be good, actually. Let's check the map. Alright. Alright, what do we got going on here? We got a boil hole. Looks like I am approaching the boil hole. I think I was onto the north side of the map, so I think this is somewhat reasonable, right? Because beforehand, we came from Renoche, I think. So I think this is a good direction to go. Top 10 list show. Okay, I don't think maybe I didn't watch Filter then. I recognize the format. I do not remember anything about the show though. I'd have to go back and watch it. There was another Kevin on G4, wasn't there? What was that guy's name? I think he like went on to work for like dig.com for a while. Does dig.com even exist anymore? Oh, I did Rolling Stone accident. Was it dig.com or dig something? I don't remember. Kevin... There's Kevin Pereira and there's Kevin something. Kevin... This is bothering me. I need to stop thinking about it. But yeah, that was definitely exciting to see at the time. But it definitely was a show or a channel that feels like at times it just wasn't really aimed towards what I was looking for in games. All right, so we got a gap here. So we got to go back around this way to the right. Hey Oscar, how's it going? Oh, interesting. They give you a t-shirt for beating a Pong game on their website? That's kind of interesting. I guess it'd have to be pretty challenging, right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be giving away a free t-shirt. Kevin Rose, thank you. Thank you. That is who it is. He founded Dig, all right. What is Kevin Rose doing today? It's like... There's some people that I feel like they just like eventually just fall off the map and like eventually I figure out where they went afterwards, and surprisingly whatever they're doing is still kind of the same thing they used to always do. I'm thinking of like Will Smith with who did like stuff at CBS. Not like that's kind of the joke with him all the time is his name's Will Smith, but he's not actually Will Smith. And then who else? Kevin Pereira is one of them that I just like feel like at some point I lost track of. Shane Satterfield with game trailers. He started up a channel that was like very old game trailer-ish in some ways. It was kind of interesting, at least in terms of like the style and commentary. But I mean, he was the editor-in-chief, so I guess at some point, if you're, if that's your style or commentary, it's gonna bleed down to the people you hire, right? Please, puppets, let me leave. Oh, there's a tiny place here I can escape. I just gotta get it right. I think, could we use the D-pad to move the camera? It's L, okay. So it's like, where's the escape? It's in there. Oh. If I can just like get on there reliably so I can hold it for a couple seconds, then I can press the button. I feel like it's only popping up though when I'm like in the middle of a certain animation or something. Oh, there we go. I had to like hold the analog stick like 70% over in order to get my animation specific enough to fit in there. All right. That it? All right, I think that's it. I mean, is there something we're supposed to do over here? The boil hole. This is the boil hole. I do not see a way to enter the boil hole. Oh, it was secret. Okay. I'd be the only one in Japan, yeah. I have a weird amount of stuff that I can probably safely say I'm probably the only one in the US with, kind of thing. Like, I wonder, like, I mean, that's kind of Comic-Cat, right? Like, I wonder how many people have copies of Super Panda Ball. Like a physical copy of it. Or Sword Girl Alice. Man, I really gotta play Sword Girl Alice at some point, because they did do an English translation for that. Is there any way I can get down in here or something? Wait, that's a different area, actually. I thought I came around the other side. So maybe we have to go through a tunnel to get over to there? Because otherwise, both sides we seem to get stuck. There is the Baragoon Tunnel. Did we come out from there? Butterfly, I just want to explore. I just want to figure out where I'm going. That is all I want to do right now. Did I turn myself around? I held the B button, which makes me think maybe I did. Going north, this should be fine. So that's the burnout town back there. I know that's the case. We'll see how things go. I will maybe ask for your suggestion in a little bit, but yeah, for right now, I wonder if I need to go to that tunnel is the only thing I'm thinking of. I just wish the encounter rate was not so high right now, because I really just want to, like, look. It's really hard for me to keep track of what I'm doing when I'm constantly getting in these battles. Okay. Oops. I mean, I guess it's good level ups and stuff, but... Green ouch. To the north, there was, like, the green patch on the wall. I don't remember the Baragoon Tunnel, unless that's where we came from. There is, like, that big abyss to the right there. I don't remember there being just, like, a big abyss, though. Did we boat here? Leave me alone, please. Alright. Let's, trace the map left. Or wait, is that right? Did I cut too early last time? No, that should be right. Yeah. Wait, no, I got turned around, dang it. Go north. Video games. Okay. Stop holding the B button, Ben. That's what's messing you up every time. Hold down that B button and it moves the camera in the direction you don't want it to be. Alright, let's see here. Joseph, am I on the right track that is maybe on the right side of this area where like the Baragoon Tunnel is, or the like big abyss over there? I would assume not, since that's where we were last time, but this is still technically the same area. Ooh, God. Yeah, I do feel like I'm just kind of going in circles right now. Oh, thank you. Oh yeah, there's that too. Admittedly, it is literally just like a CDR with a printed label. Like, you could burn your own copy of that game and you'd be good. You'd have effectively what I have. A lot of those Dojin games are just like blank CDRs, just with something burned on it, so. Or they're cards in a box. There's a couple of games that I bought as a case, and then inside was just like a card where you go download it on their website. So. Seven. All right. I am taking a lot of damage, it feels like, though. Okay, there's nothing there. This doesn't go anywhere. I'm pretty sure I already ran up there. Yeah, it's just a dead end. There's a path across the crevice. Okay, that's good to know. I'll go check that path then, or go for that crevice then. Otherwise, I would have ran around the entire area because I had kind of given up there. So that is good to know. Thank you. Stop holding the B button. Okay. Oh, there's so many of them. Hopefully, I mean, I gotta move that way anyway, so we can just dump a bunch of rocks on top of them. Well, while we're running across back over there, I have been playing games recently, and I can like talk about them, but they're also like the same video games I've been talking about for a while. So it's like there's like not anything new to say, unfortunately, when it comes to games. I mean, I've been playing more It Takes Two and everything, but I think I feel more or less the same about It Takes Two. So I've been playing too much co-op stuff is really the big thing. Which when playing co-op stuff, it's just like it just kind of lasts a long time. I don't really. I divide my time up between a lot of different groups of people playing games, and so we barely make any progress, basically. So it's like, It Takes Two, Final Fantasy 15 Comrades, Sanctum was kind of the big one, but I think Sanctum's a good video game, but I just got kind of tired of it at some point. It didn't seem like a game that they really intended you to just kind of play through all the levels. It seemed like it was more of just like, hey, you want to play some tower defense? And you invite a buddy, and it's like, sure. And then you're just going to chat while you play tower defense, basically. But that game also has a problem of, like, there's just, like, no balance when it comes to the towers and stuff. So it, like, becomes very one note very early on, so. Oh, and Sherwood early on? Yeah, I've had a lot of trouble in this game in general, just kind of, like, picking out where I should be going, so. Which is kind of weird, because, like, for the most part, this game is pretty dang linear, right? But there's a lot of things in this game I think could have been just, like, slightly improved, and it would have made the game probably better overall, so. Rock Slide? Do I have a new spell? I have Rock Shower. It only does one hit, though. I'll look around for Rock Slide here in a little bit. Would have been... Weakness, Spirit Armor, Soul Searcher, Walking Water, Ice Knife, Wind Cutter. We still have that. Reach out Rock Shower. Alex. Oh god, I need to not die. Okay. I was not paying attention to my health. I'm hoping to work on throwing together that Megasuda 2096 backwards compatibility issue video this weekend, but my dad wants me to go to his house again on this weekend, so I gotta do that. So that's gonna take up Sunday. So that basically means probably I'll have Saturday do something, but I gotta record the podcast on Saturday too. So we'll see if that gets done. I was talking about this earlier with somebody who was like talking about backloggery.com. Apparently Backloggery has been trying to like revamp their website for a really long time. But the guy who runs the website's like running into a bunch of health issues and stuff. And I'm like, but he's like the only one who apparently works on the website. So I'm like, that's the problem with this kind of stuff when you do it all by yourself. It's just like, at some point, like, if you get busy in your own life, everything just like crawls to a stop, right? Yeah, that's not very well communicated, so I appreciate the tip, Joseph, because I don't know if I would have figured that one out. Oh, dang it, right as I pressed the thing, too. So, we'll see. The Battleland video is still doing pretty alright. It's got like, I think 1,300 views or something like that, so it's doing okay. I was thinking about maybe like relabeling some of those more like, this is my controversial opinion about video game as a similar title. Not because I think that Battleland one is particularly great, but because the video titles for those already aren't very descriptive, so it might be an easy way to just like refresh them for now. And it wouldn't be too hard to do. And those videos, like the Mighty Number 9 one, Valkyrie Revolution, and Rodea the Sky Soldier for the Wii U, are probably some of my least performing videos. Rodea one I think did okay, but it might be worth making that kind of like why you should consider thing a brand of those kind of videos potentially. So, is it smart? No idea. Don't ask me. I don't know what I'm doing on YouTube. So, I like this little like wobble going on here as he slowly walks towards me. Like that? Oh, he's gonna do rock shower. Oh, I forgot ice is like way shorter range than you expect. Man, he is not getting frozen. Yeah. This game definitely feels like it was onto something. I'm kind of curious, like, just, you know, like, how much time was invested into the design of this game to some degree? Like, because this game was in development for a while, I think. I don't think it was, like, particularly short development time, but I think it just went through a lot of, like, iterations and inceptions. And I think, like, a lot of 64 games at the time just kind of ended up being, like, a fraction of what it was meant to be, kind of thing. Similar like Castlevania 64 and stuff like that, where it's like they had all these grand ambitions, but very few of them actually ended up in the video game. So, which I think is part of why these games are really fascinating to look into the like cutting room floor stuff, because a lot of the stuff is just like looks very different than the final product, because they're like, we don't know what we're doing in making 3D video games. So, we'll just do Avalanche. We've been having good Avalanche rolls tonight, I feel like. The dice rolls have been good. Alright. Oh, I did post, like, on my Twitter just before the stream, though, about, like, the guy who, like, did the whole big, like, PlayStation 3 games are gonna go away when your CMOS battery dies video thing. He did a follow-up video on the PlayStation 4 stuff, and, like, basically it just shows you what happens when your PS4 CMOS battery dies and there's no server to connect to. And it's basically just like your entire game collection just basically is like, nope. Like, the game will start to try to boot on PS4, it, like, give you a splash screen and everything. But it will basically fail out and just, like, I think the data that is on the actual console just, like, is considered corrupted at that point, like the game data. So you have to, like, uninstall it and reinstall it, and then it'll try to boot it up again, and then it'll basically just, like, crash on itself over and over, so. I don't have a lot of concern because I feel like by the time it's really an issue, I would hope that people have workarounds for it. That, and people are going to figure out this issue on PlayStation 3, right? So, yeah. I say that with confidence of somebody who will have nothing to do with that process and helping make it work, right? So I can make that claim of people will probably figure it out. I feel like people will probably figure it out. Alan is free. Well, Alex, time to study. Yeah, I forgot, like, I forget who it was. Somebody I knew used to rent games from the library, and I always thought that was, like, a really interesting thing. I don't know, like, what they're, like, what they bother to stock and why they stock it. Like, is it just donations, or is it somebody, like, specifically picking out games, or what? So... go donate my copy of First Gift Story Desktop Accessory CD Volume 3, so anybody can play First Gift Story card games whenever they want. I don't know how that card game works, to be honest. I tried playing it once, but immediately, like, it's not working properly on my virtual machine, so it's a little hard to parse out what's going on, but I never really figured out, like, what it was supposed to be based off of. Like, the characters have different, like, stats and values, and you can basically, like, put different ones on the board. And I think depending on their point value, you would get, like, different scores, things like that. I don't think Sony will fix it, but yeah, I think people will get around it for sure. So, and yeah, the big, yeah, PS4, you know, it is hopefully, you know, backwards compatible in the long run. So, but yeah, I'm not too worried about it. You know, in the foreseeable future, those disc-based games will be fine. So, I am really curious to see if anybody goes and, like, sees what happens on Xbox. I assume it's 100% the exact same thing happens on Xbox. But right now everybody wants to beat up on Sony because Sony's been making a lot of decisions that everybody's unhappy about. So it's time. It's time for everyone to be a bully. What? Why was he like? He was like vibrating across the ground. Not that I'm sitting there saying that, like, hey, you shouldn't give Sony a hard time. I definitely think it's been apparent on the podcast for a while. I'm not particularly happy with what Sony's been doing, but that's been something that's going on for a while, so. When you're in first place, it's very easy to not care about that kind of stuff, so. And pretty much every console manufacturer has done it before, so. I'm surprised Nintendo's been as friendly as they have been. Other than Joy-Con drift, I feel like Nintendo has largely been pretty solid this generation in the decisions they've made, so. Oh yeah, Mr. T, I think you were the one who shared me one of his videos, right, about Xbox stuff? That's probably where I found out about him, to be honest, because I'm pretty sure that was the first time I saw him, so. Although, like, considering the like, how much this has been a topic, I think it eventually would have gotten to me anyways, but I think that was the first time I heard of him. He, like, makes videos about Deadly Premonition or something. I went and looked at his history. He's like, I don't want to watch any of these, but I appreciate the topics he's covering for sure, so. That's interesting. Yeah, go, like, something like, if you go look at that Balan Wonderworld video comment section, it is kind of a hot mess most of the time. I probably shouldn't be in there responding to everybody, but at least I'm trying to be very cordial about everything. One thing that people keep bringing up is, like, why are you okay paying $60 for this? And, like, I'm fine paying $60 for this because it's just, like, this, I'm more interested in seeing what this game is at the end of the day than I am in like making sure I have the best experience playing a video game. So like me paying $60 is like whatever. I got to see what that game was, which 100% what I wanted to do. But like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, no, you should support Yuji Naka and Balan Wonderworld. So yeah, go rent that shit. Like go just get in on that. It's probably the best way to do it. And like, hey, if you like it and at some point you're like, I want to support this video game, you probably can do that for at least for a little while. You know, eventually I'm gonna guess that game's gonna drop in price real fast. But you know, I did check today and it had not dropped below 60, which I was surprised. I kind of assumed that it would have retailers might have started docking it pretty quick. Like the Sega situation where I feel like every single Sega game releases and it's like 60 for like a week, and then the next week it's like 40, and then like a month later it's like 20. And I don't know why Sega's games like seem to drop in value so quick. So oh, cool. Super Princess Peach is great. Yeah, I played a bit on stream and I enjoyed what I played of it last week. I would love to go back and revisit that game, but maybe someday, but not right now. That's for sure. I feel like somebody will talk about Super Princess Peach, and I will probably be okay with what they have to say about Super Princess Peach on YouTube, if somebody has not already talked about Super Princess Peach. I do not feel the need to go out there and be like, hey guys, Super Princess Peach. Which unfortunately determines a lot of what games I play, is like how much does this need to be talked about on YouTube, right? Whoops, I didn't even do that. That's kind of the one bad thing about the website, is like I feel like I have a really hard time just finding times to play my copy of Buddy Mission Bond, right? Like I'm probably not going to do anything with Buddy Mission Bond on the website, like just because I don't have the confidence in doing anything with it, given I'll have to auto-translate the whole thing. But I want to play it like really bad, and I just keep putting it off over and over and over again. So yeah, $20. That sounds like a great price for Balan Wonderworld. Like if you want to get it for that. I think the big thing I keep saying in this comment section is like, find it for a price where you feel comfortable taking a risk, because there's issues with this game, but there are things that are cool about it. But like just because there's cool things in this game does not mean you'll like it, right? There are cool things about Billy Hatcher. I do not like Billy Hatcher. Like it's not a guarantee, right? Which is like what I try to hopefully communicate in my videos is like, I think this is cool, but here are these problems, and you need to make the decision for yourself if you should, you know, actually invest in this, right? So that and price is very subjective. So oh, you're gonna launch a channel, Mr. T? Do you know, are you gonna be a responsible YouTuber, Mr. T, and have a focus to your channel, unlike me, where I just vomit up garbage every other week? Just like, hello, Balan Wonderworld. What's the next video? Let me talk about Mega Pseudo 2096. I said I was not going to do this. Admittedly, the Mega Pseudo video is mostly done because it's like a public service thing. There's not any reviews about it on YouTube. And also, it was already kind of halfway done. It was kind of the reasoning why I was like, oh, let me just put this out, and then everything was ruined, as I mentioned in the Discord with that review. But honestly, I think the reality of the situation is that the fact that it was so broken and I did not realize it makes for an even more interesting video to do. So I think in the end it will pay off, but it does mean I have to put more work into it. So I'm probably gonna make it like a follow-up to the backwards compatibility PS2 video last year. I'm silenced. Let's just run. I wonder what the Switch's backwards or the DRM looks like, because obviously it's like gonna be offline sometimes. I assume it's just, you know, also test with the CMOS battery and see if everything breaks at that point. Oh, there's a lot of fake copies. That's unfortunate. Yeah, I haven't looked to see if there's like ways to figure out if what's a fake copy or not for DS games. I know Game Boy Advance, you can pop them open and like look at them and kind of figure it out. I did that with my copy of Master of Spirits 2 when I got it, just to try to make sure. I think what I ended up doing, because I don't think there were any board pictures online for Master of Spirits 2, I got my copy of Master of Spirits 1, and I think I compared it to like another Konami game or something, and all three of them matched up, so I was like, this is probably fine. This is probably not, you know, a pirated thing. Admittedly, I will say at the end of the day, if it works, right? Like, if I can't tell the difference, then, you know, I'm not going to be too upset, you know? But definitely, like, an authenticity thing, like, you know, it definitely is concerning when you start ending up in those situations, so. I mean, Square Enix is like notoriously stingy about pricing, so we'll see. Maybe it'll be one of those things where it ends up like back in their like online warehouse or whatever, and then like for the next 15 years you can buy copies of it from their web store until all of a sudden they make Balan Wonderworld spin-off edition, and then it gets really popular and then people buy it all up. I'm referencing the fact that Drakengard was like $15 on their web store for like probably 15 years. It felt like probably like 10 years, and then Nier Automata happened, and then you no longer could get cheap copies of Drakengard off their website. So I feel really bad, Joseph, about the Pokemon thing. I shouldn't feel bad, but it was one of those awkward situations because I was at a convention here a handful of years back, and a kid was looking at a copy of a Pokemon game in a binder that a booth was selling, and I could tell it was not legit, just like eyeing it up. And he was gonna buy it, and like I just told him, I was like, hey man, that's not like a real copy of that game, just so you know. Like, I don't mind, like, I don't, at the end of the day, if it works, but just so you're aware, because he's gonna pay a lot of money for it. And the person at the booth was very clearly very angry at me. But it wasn't like marked as like, you know, that this is a repro card or anything like that. So I don't know. I don't know if that might be one of the situations where I was a tattletale or something, and maybe I was, you know, maybe that was in bad faith that I did that, but I just had to make a decision on the spot there, and I don't know. I feel kind of guilty about it from both sides, but at the same time, the seller seemed pretty aware of what they were selling them, so. Oh god. Yeah. Joseph, I think regular game collecting is probably the best to avoid. I think at some point we all realize it is not sustainable, right? And then people sell off what they have, so. I definitely have gotten to the point that last month, I moved all my stuff into, like 2 months ago, actually, at this point. This year feels like it's flying by, honestly. I moved all my games into my bedroom, under my bed, or everything I beat, I put under there. I don't like them being there, but I just was running out of space in my, like, standard area. So I just had to do something with them, so. I need to figure out the storage situation there. I might not figure out my storage situation for now. I need to see when my rent is up. I maybe should start looking for a more permanent residence here in Las Vegas, because I don't seem to have any plans on moving, and rent basically froze last year during the pandemic, but before rent froze, my rent was going up about $100 every year. And like I tried to shop around, and that was just like true everywhere. And it was like the cost of renting a place was like the same cost as like if I went and like bought a house. Obviously I have more responsibility with the house, but like at least I get like, you know, equity, as it is called. What is equity? I don't know, but I know it's good to have it. So that's pretty much adult things, right? So oh yeah, Oscar, where did you see that? Was it Price Charting has like a thing where you can put your games in or something? Your collection in? I need to look at that. I think you mentioned that on the Discord the other day, and I didn't ever take time to sit down and figure out what you were using. Thor High Heels, yeah, Thor High Heels seems like a great channel. I have not watched much of him, but there's a lot of games that he has covered that I would have loved to cover, but I never got around to. Attack of the Friday Monsters is like one of my favorite 3DS games of all time, and unfortunately, I don't think I'm the person to talk about Attack of the Friday Monsters. I'm just not. I'm very much a mechanics kind of person when I talk about games. And I do love talking about, like, I do love, like, the aesthetics of those games and how, and just the vibe of them, but I don't do good putting that stuff into words. It's probably, like, I mentioned during the Balan video that, like, one of the reasons I avoided the Balan, like, talking about the aesthetics of Yuji Naka's games at all is, like, I kind of feel like you like it or hate it already, so you already kind of know what's going to go on, like, if you're going to enjoy it or not. But, like, I think a part of it is also just, I don't really know how to talk about those kind of things in a way that isn't just me saying, yeah, it's charming, it's cute. Like, I just don't really have anything of value to say, so I just kind of really focus on gameplay. And I think if I do that Nier video, you're going to see that very similar thing where, like, even though I have very strong feelings about the story of Nier and how it was handled between Automata and the first game, or how it was handled differently, I just don't really have the confidence to talk about it in the way that I probably would need to make people not just get mad at me. Although people get mad at me either way. So. I don't know Rebel Taxi. I'll have to look into them. Yeah, I don't know, like with the Pokemon stuff, but yeah, I shouldn't linger on it. This was years ago. I'm sure that kid doesn't even remember. I'm sure nobody remembers that other than me. I'm the one person out of the whole scenario that actually remembers and cares. So I won't worry about it too much. Oh, Oscar, do you have housing with your company, right? Also, is the audio still holding up fine? It sounded fine earlier, but I know last week I thought it was, the last 2 weeks, or last 2 streams, I thought it was fine, only to find out later when I watched it, it was not fine. So, aesthetics are everything. Well, I don't know. I think that's just easier for me, because I think I'm really good at, maybe I shouldn't say I'm very good. I think I do a decent job of explaining what I like about games mechanically, at least. At least I do a better job than I did 5 years ago, for sure. If you go look at my Blue Breaker Burst video, I basically do nothing to tell you why I like that video game. I pretty much say at some point, hey, anime girls in this game, and that's kind of it. I just, like, basically have nothing to say. I don't know. Some of those old videos, I go look at them and just go like, man, what was the point of this? But hey, we learn. We live and learn. Thank you for the audio check. Appreciate it. Just gonna wobble on over. I know it's a little echoey. I don't know if like getting like audio baffling would help with that, or if I need something else. I don't really want to put up a bunch of like audio baffling stuff in my apartment because this is my living room, but I might put up maybe like a couple behind the PC. There are like ones you can get to like encase the microphone, but I mean obviously with my microphone where it is, which is literally like right here. I'm gonna touch you guys real quick. Oop, touched it. It's not really ideal for that. So. All right. Let's see here. Ice wall. There was one PlayStation game that Thor showed off once that I thought was really cool, and I cannot remember what it was for the life of me, so. If I recall correctly with Thor, though, it doesn't, like, I think this is the problem I have with some people's videos, is, like, sometimes they'll make, like, hour-long videos, and I'm just like, alright, man. Like, I get it with, like, a stream or podcast or something, but, like, I think it's like his From Software video is like ridiculously long if I recall correctly, and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna sit through all this. But you know, good on him, good on him. Like, people watch it, right? He's doing better than me, so he knows what the people want more than I do. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to cast Ice Wall. There we go. Messed up my muscle memory. Do you like other people have the opportunity to live there too, or is that just like a scenario for you specifically, Oscar? Not that you need it. Again, whenever I ask you guys about your life things, never feel like you have to tell me, and always feel free to just like completely ignore my comment, because I will forget about it in the next like 2 minutes of my life. But I don't want to like pry into your lives too much. So you do what you do, especially if you like, if you don't want to like have it publicly available on a stream for somebody to come and listen to later and be like, hello, let me tell you about my job. So disclaimer every single time I ask any of you guys about anything personal. Persona 5. I wonder with Persona 5, because Persona 4, like, I might be not 100% up and up on how successful Persona is, but I feel like by the time Persona 3 came out on the PS2, that was when I was like, oh, Persona is a video game, right? And I was like, I feel like at that time when I knew about Persona 3, I was probably more like, my knowledge was probably more with like, was more the general audience of gamers at the time. And then Persona 4 was like the one that I feel like really took off. But, you know, maybe it's just the fact that I was playing, you know, or watching like, you know, podcasts and streams at that point. So like I was hearing people talk about Persona 2 or Persona 4, sorry. But I always felt like Persona 4 was like where that thing went mainstream to me. But Persona 5 definitely did a lot better for sure. And it definitely, if I recall correctly, Persona 5 was on that coattail of like, I think it was like 2015, which kind of felt like Japanese games finally being big again in the US, right? Yakuza 0, Nier Automata, to a less extent Final Fantasy 16, I think. I think there was an interest in Final Fantasy 16, but I don't think a lot of people ended up liking it. Or 15, I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm getting all these numbers wrong. I think there's you know, to a less extent, I think people were not as enthusiastic about actually playing 15 as much as I like 15. Admittedly, 15 with DLC, right? That is always the caveat I make there, is that 15 with DLC is very good. Base 15, I think, is good for the last, you know, 5 to 8 hours. If even that, right? Like basically, whenever you basically forfeit your right to an open world in that game, that is when it gets good, in my opinion, so. Yeah, send me some of his videos or something. I did look a little bit into that, like, Import Gamer for the Win guy. Man, those thumbnails, those are some dense thumbnails. Like, I feel like there were like 70 graphics shoved in that tiny area. The videos themselves seem pretty alright though. They seem, if I recall correctly, the majority of them were like pickup videos, right? If I recall correctly, so he's just like talking about games he was buying and stuff because he lives in Japan. So I don't know if we'll do pickup videos anymore. We might just go to pickup streams, because I was talking to Vink about this, because I recently put in an order with Vink, or finalized an order, basically. I need to not be this close. And he asked me if I was going to do like an unboxing or anything, and it's a lot, like those pickup videos are probably, they're intended to be very easy things where you just kind of put up, but unfortunately they usually are more work than they seem, because I am literally playing like 30 minutes to 2 hours of each of those video games, depending on the game, and then I have to record the actual pickup video, and then I gotta go edit it, and then I gotta put the gameplay footage in and everything. It's like way more work than it probably needs to be. So I think we might just like limit down pickup stuff to like pick up games on stream or something. So maybe that's the best. But you're studying entrepreneurship. That's fun. I took entrepreneurship briefly in school. When I went to go get my vaccine today, I went to the local college. I was like, oh, hello, I'm back, boys, dropping in the college. Hello. I've never been to this college. So I don't know why it felt that way, but maybe it's just like the just being in like the commons area and stuff like that was just kind of weird. Also seeing a lot of young people, because I work with a lot of old people. Like, and when I say old people, I don't mean me being like, oh, I'm 30 years, I'm so old. A lot of people I work with are, I'd say, close to twice my age. So, they're all my dad's age, I believe. That puts it in perspective. Admittedly, my dad had me when he was very young, so I think he was 19 or something. Why is the camera doing this? Did I get turned around? I hope not. The camera did not reorient. I will trust the camera. I was not touching the B button. So unless the wall itself was preventing the camera from turning, I will trust this is the correct direction. Hello, person. Japanese audio tracks were added as an apology to the Persona 5? Oh, for the delay? Wait, was Persona not voice acted like in a Dragon Quest kind of way? Welcome, fool. Hello, Fargo. You have done my work for me and bought me the other 3 precious jewels. That weakling Beegis. I have not been reading anybody's name in this game, so I don't know if this is like Beegis. Beegis? Beegis thinks that I will hand them over to him. Wrong. I and only I will be the king of Setland. Seltzerland. Hand them over. I don't know why I read that out. That's like the only dialogue in this game I ever read aloud. So please enjoy the tiny bit of dialogue I gave you. What do we want to do here? Are we just gonna like avalanche this thing? Oh, that wasn't too bad in terms of damage. He's got big muscles, so maybe that makes him more avalancheable. Oh, we're getting some hits on him, so. Ugh. I think we're probably fine to do another avalanche. Wow, look at that damage. All right, now we need to heal. Beegis and Butthead, yeah. I appreciate it, Joseph. Yeah, it's hard, like, getting footage for that stuff. It takes a lot of time. It's kind of the problem I'm having with maybe making a Nier video, is I do not have any footage for Nier games, because that was before I recorded everything I played and stored it all, so if I want to put that together quickly, I gotta figure out a way to get gameplay, and a lot of that video would probably be Nier Automata footage, and I do not want to play through Nier Automata again. That is not something I want to do in my life. So I would hate to do it, but in that case I might borrow footage, but I don't want to, for sure. It's just not my favorite thing to do. It's hard because then you get into like the whole sourcing thing, and like I'm very inconsistent with my sourcing. Like some videos I am meticulously sourcing everything down to like, I'm gonna leave you the URL, I'm gonna give you the person's name, you know, and earlier on I did definitely like spend more time like asking for permissions for those things, but most of the time nobody really responds, so it's like, okay, well, like at some point nobody responds, and then nobody seems to care if you take their stuff as well, and I don't really mind anyone like taking my footage either, so I'm sure there are people who care, like I don't know, should I single anybody out? I probably shouldn't. There is somebody I know who blogs about games who is very adamant that you do not copy any of the stuff that they post in terms of media. And I totally get it. That's perfectly fine. You know, they're paying, you know, for these video games. They're taking the time to take these screenshots, scan them, whatever they're doing, right? I get it. But it is one of those things where I'm just like, well, I don't own the video game really. I mean, I own the game, right? It's like, it's something I have, but like, it's not like me recording gameplay is not some like artistic thing, right? Like, unless you're doing something beautiful, like if you're playing some Resident Evil 6 Mercenaries mode and you're calling it art, I'm like, yeah, man, that's art. I hope I didn't get turned around. I feel like we might have, though. Let's see here, cause no, we didn't see the chest on the way in, so this is a new way. So, but yeah, it's a thing. I will always prefer to use my footage whenever possible, and if time and equipment permits me to, I will use my own footage. Definitely. I would love to get more footage of A Wizard of Oz Beyond the Olympic Road up on the internet, because if I recall correctly, and I have not checked in a while, the majority of videos out there are running on emulator. So like to get actual gameplay footage up out there would be nice now that I have a 3DS capture card. But I forgot if I said it already, but Mr. T, but thank you for sending me all that stuff for sure. I really appreciate it. I'm always interested to hear about like content creators. So if you guys know anybody that you think would be like of interest to me, I will watch that stuff. I think it's like, for better or for worse, I think a lot of what I watch influences what I end up making too. It's probably why I'm so like impulsive all the time with like content, is like I will watch something and like the multi-tap podcast, definitely me being like, I'm gonna make my own baby retronauts, right? that is basically what that is about, for better or for worse. Quick plays are very much like Giant Bomb quick looks, and you know, is that a good thing to do? Not necessarily, but it does give me the chance to experience a lot of different types of, like making a lot of different types of videos and things like that, which I think is nice. It makes me like make sure I don't like settle for one type of content too much. I hope, obviously, like I go through phases, right? Like I did a ton of casual reviews for a while, and I love doing them, but at the same time, like at some point I get kind of bored of the format. I want to go do something else. So, oh, there's a spirit right there. Huh. I feel like this inn is loaded. Oh my gosh, give me these treasure boxes. Give me these treasure chests. Persona games have only English audio tracks and no Japanese ones. When you say Persona games have only English audio tracks, do you mean the localized version of Persona games only have English audio tracks, right? The Japanese version does not ship initially with English audio, I'm pretty sure. That is correct, I think, right? Yeah, we'll see what happens. I will say, I've got a little surprise for you guys at the end of the Quest 64 stream. It's something that I think will be fun, given the type of people who are in here. But,